Ladies and gentlemen, I feel greatly honored to stand here on behalf of government, but especially on behalf of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and I bring you greetings and sympathies from my minister, who is out of the country, the Minister of State in charge of culture is one we had expected to join us. Unfortunately, she had an assignment up country, and I was only too happy to take this responsibility, being an old student of Namasagali. My story is an interesting one because I didn't complete in Namasagali. I was there for 3 impactful years. I was in Namasagali from senior 1 up to senior 3. And my final day with Father Grimes was one none of you would want to recall. I was not the gentleman you see here. I was in Namasagali the year they introduced the points system. For those who remember, if you were caught on the wrong side of the regulations in Namasagali, you accumulated penalties, those points. And within the very first term of introducing the penalty system, I was running very fast and accumulating them very fast. But I didn't leave because of that. A lot of things happen in our lives. There was a friend of mine who were in class. I was one of the best students in my class. And our teacher for English, called Allen at that time, he was on duty. I was one of his best students in English. So that night, one of our friends called, I think it was called Charles Chirunda, had accumulated those penalties to a point that he was considered undesirable. So we had preps. And because by that time, these habits of young people, of adolescents, I was a smoker. Today, if anybody smoked next to me, I would give you the harshest punishment. But I'm taking you back down the memory lane to see the transformation that people undergo. So that day, I dodged prep because my friend had already been expelled. And we locked ourselves in a dormitory called Soroti. It was Soroti too. So in Soroti was a very dynamic dorm. And in the evenings, or whenever we had our free time, we would set up our own jazz band. And we would sing all these Lingala songs. And there's nothing we didn't do between senior 1 and senior 3 in Namasagali, because I left in senior 3. So that night, I chose to stay and sympathize and commiserate with my friend who had been expelled. And we locked ourselves in one of the back rooms of Soroti 2. Then we had somebody banging the door. And the door was locked. So he banged, and we were so scared. In the room we had been smoking. And of course that smoke, I think, was also escaping into the courtyard. So we jumped out of the window and we ran and hid. Later, our colleagues who had gone for preps came back. We didn't realize that before the teacher came to the dormitory, he had first been to class and he had identified 2 of us were missing. And when he got to the room and banged the door, I think he first listened to the conversation inside. Even when we escaped and we thought the worst was over in my case, it wasn't, because he had evidence that there were 2 people in the room. So the following morning, I confidently walked to class, and I'm summoned and told, Father Grimes wants you. So when I went to his office, he was seated behind his table, his glasses a bit lowered. And at that angle, he called me Mr. Kibenge. You were smoking last night with Kirunda. I said, no, Father. He said, you were smoking last night with Kirunda. I said, no, Father. And he jumped over. And he came and subjected me to a barrage of punches. I tried everything in Namasagali within the 3 years I was there. I did swimming, literally everything. I did dancing. We were the type during the dances who would wait in the middle. Who would wait in the middle to get fast to the girls we wanted. So, when he did that, I also defended myself. And every time he would try to punch me, he would hit on my guard. For those of you who tried boxing, you know what I'm talking about. Until he hit what you would call a lucky punch. And he hit my tummy. And I went down like this. And I opened up the face. And he hit me another in the face. So, with that one, I think I got a little confused. I said, yes, Father. And that sealed my fate in Namasagali. I remember that very day, all our family, majority of my brothers and sisters went through Namasagali. And on that very day, I was expelled. My father was bringing my brother for senior 5. So as he was delivering one, he was leaving with another. But that's not even the end of the story. A month later, I had a brother in the same class. And a month later, my brother also followed me. So we left one in senior 5, we left another, a sister of mine in senior 4, because we were in senior 3, 2 of us. So 2 of us left Namasagali, one within a month of the other. So I thought I would give you that context. No ill feelings towards Father Grimes. Because later, when I reflect, and when I grew up and started looking backwards, I always attribute the foundation I got in basically first of all, in primary school. And I'm saying this because amongst us, our educators, our parents, once the foundation is right, you can't go wrong. I was in Mwiri Primary from P1 up to P7. I went to Namasagali for only 3 years. I went through another turbulent period after Namasagali, as I was discovering myself. But thanks to that foundation, it was unshakable. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we gather to celebrate the life and legacy of a hero in Father Grimes, a devoted servant of God, an educator, a social justice advocate, a devout lover of art and culture, and a beloved member of our Ugandan community. Father Grimes was more than just a priest. He was a shepherd, a teacher, and a friend to many, producing notable figures in Uganda's politics, in the academia, in arts, in media, in business, in all spheres of life. You saw since morning, I'm sure they are talking about many of these. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, but maybe I should also inform you, I talked to my colleague, the PS Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Vincent Bagire, who says he got caught up and could not join us this evening, but he sends his condolences. Behind the curtains. A lot has been happening, orchestrated by many of the old students. By the way, even the former PS of Ministry of Education, Ketila Maro, I was surprised when later I discovered that she was also an old student of Namasagali. She's, I think, moving soon to the Health Service Commission. But we, the three of us, had met and we had talked to Morid. We were planning, the three of us, plus any other influential old students, to undertake a visit to Namasagali and on ground discuss what it is each of us can do in their own right. So I convey their condolences, as indeed many that are not able to be here. So finally, it is mainly in recognition of his tireless efforts to improve the lives of the marginalized, advocating for better living conditions and opportunities for all, and his love for the children and the people of Uganda, that I stand here to convey deepest condolences on behalf of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, as indeed on behalf of government. I've never felt proud that government undertook full responsibility of ensuring that the wish of Father Grimes, conveyed to government mainly through a number of the old students, is realized, of having him brought back to Uganda and ultimately buried in Uganda. Our sympathies are especially with the immediate family of Father Grimes, the Mill Hill Fathers community in Uganda and worldwide, his former students, and all Ugandans at large. May his legacy continue to inspire us to live with faith, hope, and charity. May his soul rest in eternal peace.